All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's Stock Analysis Friday. Today is August 16th, 2024. Great to have everybody here. All right, just a quick couple announcements here, and then I just got to go through some administrational items and we'll get started. So the purpose of Stock Analysis Friday is for me to give you a second opinion on maybe a stock or an ETF you're interested in. You may be long on that, kind of looking to see, well, should I get out? Should I, have an exit price nearby, so things like that. So I'll be glad to help you with that. Go ahead and type your stocks in the comments window in caps. Now, if you're watching the recording, you can join us next week when we're live and participate. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel. So please do that so you can go ahead and participate in the comments area. All right, so let me go through a few administrational items here and get cooking. First thing to talk about, of course, is I always got to start out with the risks involved in trading or investing in the financial markets. There's no guarantees, guys. We deal in a realm of probabilities. We make educated guesses, but no guarantees. So keep that in mind. Also, too, when I give you an opinion on a stock, realize it's my opinion. Yes, I've been doing this for 30 years, but still it is my opinion using my software and technical analysis. So definitely check with your financial advisor to see if anything I recommend or some of my suggestions are suitable for you. I don't know your personal situation. They, of course, do. So you need to check with them for the final approval. What else can I say about risk control? Know how you should basically fund any account with money you can afford to risk. I think that's important. And also, too, if you're an active trader, always calculate your trade size, which is your position size. And that's going to be based on your entry, where you're going to get out, and the percent amount that you can afford to lose based on your account size. I've written a couple books on that I can help you with, both on money management, and I'll put some links in the recording below for you to access our Amazon page where you can order any of this stuff. My new book, The Art of Trading on the Far Right, second edition, published by Wiley, is finished. That will be out this year. So I think that's going to be like 500 pages. I think originally I did almost 700 and we had to cut a couple pages back. So it's a pretty hefty book. So you can pre-order that at a pretty good price right now if you're interested. But that is probably one of the best books I think I've ever written. So you might definitely want to check that out. All right, in terms of software, like I said, I'm going to give you my opinion on stocks and ETFs and so forth. Based on my analysis. I'm going to start out looking at Bitcoin. So if anybody has Bitcoin, definitely check that out. All right. And again, I'll put some links to our software if you like the way it analyzes the market. All right. A couple of things just to go over. If you are into day trading and day trading futures, I highly recommend using a prop firm for that for a variety of different reasons. But for one, all right, you can trade their money, not yours. That's always a big help. So that takes kind of care of your funding your account with risk capital, right? Also, too, they start you off with an evaluation account, but they give you free data. So if you need data for your futures trading, why pay for it? Why not get a subscription here? And the nice thing about it is in this evaluation account or simulated account they start you out with, they want you to prove to them that you're profitable. And so you have a little skin in the game. So you have your emotions kicking in as if it was kind of real money. So I think that adds a little extra dimension to it. So I'm going to put a link up in the chat area right now. Give it a second to populate. That will take you to the Apex Trader funding firm, which I use. And I use this to day trade as well. And you can read more about it. You can also use my link and coupon code and save money. So there's a subscription fee and it's not that much money, okay, with my code there. So check it out if that interests you. So I always like to tell people about that because I think it's a great situation for most people. And then finally, go ahead and give us a like, okay? We appreciate that. All right, so let me come out of here real quick. Go ahead and type your symbols in caps for me, and that way it makes it easier for me to see. And again, I'm going to look up basically stocks and ETFs. So that's kind of why we're here. All right, I'm going to start out with Bitcoin. Before I jump into Bitcoin, though, I want to go over a little bit of what you're looking at. So if you're new here, you kind of can say, "Whoa, what's all that stuff?" All right, so I got a charting platform up. The charting platform I'm using is NinjaTrader. All right, it's NinjaTrader 8. I think it's a great platform. We like it a lot. I've got my software loaded, and as you notice, I've got 3 charts and this little ribbon thing at the top. This is our scanners. So what I use this for up here is a couple things. One is each weekend, I'll take a look and see what stocks I think could be good setups. And the scanners that we've developed, and we have proprietary scanners, fortraderscoach.com, Applied Reality Trading, that basically will scan the market using parameters that we like to look at. And so we get a handful of stocks when we run these scanners and then check them out visually on the actual charts to see which ones are the best. And that's how we pick our stocks each and every week. So definitely keep that in mind. All right, so on below the scanners, we have 3 charts. So I have it set up with a 60-minute chart over here, a daily chart in the middle, and a weekly chart over here. And the reason I do that is because it gives me a good look at the same symbol. Notice I got Bitcoin on all 3 charts loaded. So I'm looking at the same stock across what they call different time frames. So for example, the 60-minute chart, each price bar represents an hour, 60 minutes. The daily chart represents a full day, and the weekly chart represents a full week. Most charts you look at when you go to a website or open up a magazine are probably the daily chart. Okay, that's the most common. And so every price bar represents a full day in that particular chart. And then I've got our software tools loaded on top of the chart. You can see some of these little pyramids here. These are looking for fractal trend trades, and they're places to enter and put stops. And then at the bottom here, I've got the OWL, which is the optimum wave locator here. And then under that is the PTF, the precision trend filter, trend line master, and ERI. And the ERI basically measures fear and greed in the market based on hyperbolic moves away from an orderly trend. The trend line master is what we use to identify the trend direction. So that's kind of what we're doing here. You'll see me refer to probably the OWL and the PTF most often, and I'll go over that with each individual chart. All right, so what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, we had a really nice move up on Bitcoin earlier this year, topped out right around March, April, and then it's kind of been going sideways, up and down, a lot of volatility, and kind of to be expected. Now, if you're an Elliott wave person, we classified this high that occurred in March as wave 3. So there are 5 waves in a trend, and the trend ends after the 5th wave. So based on the fact that this is a wave 3, we kind of realize that since the trend ends in wave 5, it's not over yet, right? But you have a wave 4, all right, here, okay, that's still kind of in progress. And the wave 4 is what we call a profit-taking wave. So that's a correction against the dominant trend. So the trend is bullish, but now we're in a bearish wave 4. And usually wave 4s retrace to what we call a Fibonacci retracement level between 38.2 and 61.8%. And so we're kind of in that ballpark here. So it did come down, but one of our indicators here is still red. And this is called the PTF, and it has a 75% accuracy rate. And it's very easy to use. You just basically find the lowest price in the red area. And there's a 75% probability, if that's still red, that that's not the bottom, that we're going to go down and take that out again. And so we're getting that on Bitcoin. All right. So, the low that occurred over the last, couple of weeks was pretty low, right? So we're looking at probably, let me get the data window up here. All right. We're probably looking, I'm just going to move that off screen for a minute, but we're probably looking at a low here of around 49,050. All right. And so the PTF is saying we're going below that. So we're going back in the 40s on that. Now, so that's kind of, good information. So again, 75% probability on that indicator, I listened to it. Now, let's go to the chart on the right, which is the weekly chart. And so that's still got a green PTF. So now we got a red PTF on the daily and a green on the weekly. So how do you interpret that? Well, it's very easy. You read from left to right. So the daily chart will happen usually first before the weekly chart. So we're thinking after wave 4 completes, and if you think of our wave count being 5 waves, you got a 3 here, a 4 that's not quite done, but after 4 is done, then we have a wave 5, right? And so that is what this is saying and concurring, that the bull trend is still in progress, but we're going to have to wait to get above that March high for wave 5. Wave 5 should take that out, and wave 4 doesn't seem to be quite over yet. So we'll see how this unfolds. But I guess if you're bullish on Bitcoin and you don't mind holding it, you hold it, okay? If you're thinking about buying it, I would wait and see if when we take this out, this should go yellow, which is neutral at that point. And maybe what a great buying opportunity that could be for you to enjoy wave 5 back to the upside. If we make a new low, I'm going to have to ratchet down these levels here. This is the wave 5 target right now based off fib extensions. I'll have to ratchet that down because I'll have a new lowering anchor point. But I'd go with the PTF, and the PTF is calling for a 75% probability of eventually taking out that high. So wave 5 should breach wave 3. So any buy down in this lower area, boy, you're looking at a heck of a nice return. So keep that in mind. All right, I always like to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. It's very popular and kind of a good way to start it off. All right, so go ahead and type symbols in as you see fit. I'll be glad to look them up. I want to start out with Tesla. We talked about that last week, and I want to see if that is kind of turned around. It was coming back down. All right, couple of things with Tesla, which is very interesting now. Notice I'm going to open up the weekly chart. This is the long-term chart, and here you can clearly see our friendly Elliott wave. So 3, 4, 5. There's our target with a PTF green above the high here in 2022, maybe 2021. Okay. So this is saying that after this 4, which we think is over, is in, wave 5 should breach the high of wave 3 and put it in the upper part of that target zone. So I'm putting Tesla down as a buy now. All right, I wanted to share that with everybody. I think it's a good one at this particular point. And what we want to do is take a look at the lower time frames just to see, all right, if they agree. And we have a green PTF here. Check this out. All right, this red PTF, I don't know if you can see it. I'll open it up really wide, but notice it just turned green. Okay, so when it goes from red to green, that's one of the 25% times it changed its mind. So now it's bullish. So this is a good go. You can put your stop under here, which would probably be, let me give you an exact number on that. That would probably be 205.78, and we're at 215.79. Or you could be a little bit more cautious and put it back one dip below here at 167.41. So that would cause a lower trade size if you did that. Or you could probably just buy an option on it, whatever you want. Our target on this is going to be the high here of 414.50. So you're talking almost about 100% return before this is over. Now, you're going to have to hold it a while to get that kind of return, but it should be a steady, for the most part now, a steady move up, because we've had the big correction and now we should start to move up. So Tesla, we're going to put down as a buy, and I think it's an excellent new entry, and that's TSLA. TSLA. All right, Gene's saying TSL is a winner and is a buy, but it's TSLA. Okay, don't forget the A. All right, I want to take a look at silver as well. All right, silver also moved up, came back down. You know, we were looking at a little bit more of a movement up on silver. And so now we got a green PTF back on the daily chart. We've had that sometime. I'm just going to open up that weekly chart real quick. All right, on silver. Now, silver is an ETF. So there's many different ways you can play silver. All right, you can play it as an, basically you can buy the option on silver on the ETF. You can do the futures contract. So there's different ways you could buy it. You can go out and buy the actual silver metal. All right. But on the ETF, we think we got a significant bottom that was put in here. It's gone a little bit of sideways. It's kind of broken out of this channel here, pulled back in. So basically, I think probably this is not a bad accumulation time, especially with the green PTF now on the pullback. So what I don't like to do is I don't like to recommend things when they haven't pulled back, but this is pulled back now. So I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. The momentum, which is, this is the OWL, the optimum wave locator, still a little bearish, but it's improving. So one more thing I want to just take a look at here and draw it in is I just want to draw in the fib retracements. And notice we hit that target perfectly. And also too, an Elliott wave, there should be an ABC inside the wave 4 correction. And we have that. And C wave is equal or longer than A wave. So I'm putting this one down as a buy. Okay, so this is silver going down as a buy today. All right, so there you have that. All right, so I see some coming in today. So let me get to those. This is for Ted Biagine. Okay, and it's BITF. BITF. All right, so let's see what we got cooking here. All right, so we got a red PTF. Remember, read left to right. So on the 60-minute chart, we have a red PTF. We have a green one on the center. So here's what basically the charts are saying. We're probably going to go down one more time. If this stays green, then that should be the last time, and then it should move up. So I'm not going to recommend this, but keep this on a watch list. Wait for that red PTF on the 60-minute chart to turn. And then I think we'll look at that as a possible buy. With a target, probably, there's not a lot of history in here, but with a target up maybe around $5 or $6 at the most for a short-term target. Now, one thing to note is on BITF on that 60-minute chart, that could change midweek. It's an hourly chart. So basically, we're going to meet here next week on Friday. By that time, it could be yellow, okay, which would signal a go. As long as we're not trading against the PTF's color on any of these time frames, we'll be good, okay? So I put that one on hold. BTI, put that on the watch list, I guess, more specifically. All right, and you've been in these for 6 months, so you might want to get out of that one, Ted, since the PTF is red on that. All right, so on this one here, I don't see any reason to pop out of it. Looks like everything is going to make new highs, so you can stay in that one. CL, let's take a look at that one. And we've got a green PTF short term. This will pull back at some point, but for right now, stay with it, okay? All right, bring it back next week if you want. We can review it for any changes. But now when I say stay in it, that means if you're in it, stay in it. If you're thinking about going in it, wait, okay? Because you have a little bit more of a high, but you may not have that much based on an entry here to make it worthwhile, okay? So there's a big distinction there, okay? All right, Stu, how are you, Stu? KVUE. Stu, I don't know if you're in these. Don't forget to let me know if you're in them, thinking about going in them, in the direction, okay? So not a lot of history on this bad boy, right? But we did have a pull up on the daily chart, and we have still a green PTF on the 60-minute chart. I would not go into this now. What makes me nervous a little bit, let me just make sure about that. Okay, just refresh. All right, so you have a big gap there. Now, gaps usually occur in 3 times of a trend: beginning, middle, and end. All right, usually the middle and the end obviously fill. They can fill those gaps. Sometimes the beginning gaps don't fill. All right, so that is something to consider. My only problem with this is that you're kind of, putting yourself in a risky position going in here because if you get that pullback, it could be, to fill that gap. You really haven't gotten that big of a pullback yet off the bottom. And so sometimes those first moves up are retraced by 100% retracement to give you that double bottom. So you got to always think about that. So again, I guess I would wait for a pullback, and I would look for it to get in between the gap some way, and I think you'll be better off there. So let's put this on a watch list. I'm not saying no to this, but I'm not, in terms of not going into it in the future, but it's a no for right now, okay? Let's take a look at Pfizer, which you like to look at. We looked at that last week, I think the week before too. So Pfizer is pulling back off its possible bottom here, okay? Our target on this is eventually 36.60, provided the bottom holds. We got a red now PTF on the 60-minute chart, so we're not done pulling back. But this is a great example of when you have a move off the bottom like this, you can get a drastic move down before it goes. So this could be a bottom, but you could get a double bottom, all right, over here. So I would hold off. And again, let's look at that next week and put that on our watch list. All right, thank you. JP, let's see what else you got cooking here. All right, EQX. EQX, good to have you here, JP. All right, so again, I don't know if you're long or considering something on here. So we've got, if you read left to right, you got a red PTF and then two green PTFs, and you got some type of move off the bottom without much of a pullback yet. I think you got to wait on this, all right? There's not a lot of history on this. It started, it looks like, out around 2019. Let me just make sure here I've got enough. Whoa, load that. Let's make sure I got enough history on here, just to make sure the problem isn't in the history. I got 5,000 bars, so I'm good there. So yeah, that's not much history. 2019, okay? So tough to, it went all the way up and all the way down. So this is the famous EQX. So I'm thinking more highs, but I think it's not done yet. I think it's going down. And, if you look at all the cryptos, it's the same type of thing. They bounced off a bottom, but the bottom seems to be temporary. And it should return and make another bottom unless things change. If things get more enthusiastic and this particular thing abruptly turns green, then I'll be bullish. So let's bring this one back next week, okay, and take a look, because that's a 60-minute chart, and that can change between now and the time we meet again. All right, IWC, let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, so IWC, we got now a green. Notice how it turned from red to green that time, so that's bullish. But now we got a pesky one over here on the far right-hand side. So again, not an A+ setup, all right? So we hold off on this one. This is a no-go. And again, if you're in it, all right, it looks to me like we probably will pull back. Now, this could be a bottom here, all right? So just because I'm saying it's going to pull back, I don't mean it's going to go back below the bottom in many years ago, but we could go below 90, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, and that's IWC, okay? Stu's back with PAGS. Not sure if you're long in this one. All right, in this one, okay. So it looks like, let me just see. Yep, you say you're in them. All right, so you're in this one. We're reaching up to a target here. Notice the PTF now is green, so more highs. So I would hold on to this one, but we're getting into a short-term target. Let me just see how this looks longer term. Oh, not so bad, okay? Again, very tough to get a read when the stock is only, believe it or not, in the life of a stock, it came out in what, 2018? That's not a long time to analyze it on a weekly chart. So you have to remember that, even though you think it's a long time, it's really not. You have to really rely on the daily and the 60-minute chart. So it looks like we're still heading up. And if we break this area here, which it looks like we're starting to break, that's a good sign. Probably going to get a pullback a little bit at some point, but I think you're good to go. Trying to get a target for you on this. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we got. So I'm thinking maybe maybe 27 to 40 if we break this channel, okay? It looks like we're gonna come up and pull back based on the 60-minute chart. So, well, no, looks like it's now a 3. So I think you're pretty good on this one, all right? So this originally, it looks like when we looked at this last week, this was not as high as it was. So this was a 3, 4, 5, but that's not the case. So now we can basically, let's change things here a little bit. And you have to change as the market changes. Let's get rid of those because now we're in a 3. So that's a good sign that we're going to go on up to this target. So I'm actually going to put this one as a buy, PAGS, because I think now it's looking like we'll get to 27, and that's a nice return considering we're sitting at 14. Your stop, I would put your stop, you got 2 places. One here at around 1183, I guess that is, 1 tick under. Nope, let me just make sure I get that right. That low is 1183, 1164. So you can put your stop at $11.63, or go back here and put it at 1104. Okay, so you got 3 points of risk, and you've got more than enough to reach the 2 to 1. So I put it at the further stop back. All right, just to give yourself enough room for any volatility. So PAGS is going on the buy list for this week. Excellent. All right, let's see what we got. JP, I'm in the EQX on a sim trade long, IWC considering. Okay, cool. And I covered both those, so I think you're all set on that. All right, we got more from Ted here. Ted, can you not type in the comments area? I think you were having trouble doing that before. I assume you're subscribed to our channel, so you should be able to access the comments area right inside YouTube, so you don't have to go through Gene. Might make it a little easier for you. Okay, so just remember that. Try to work on it. All right, so end them for 6 months. So okay, so let's check these out. PLTR. Give that a second to load. Oh boy. Okay, so red over here indicating eventually you should have a move down. Been in them for 6 months. Let's see where I would put your stop, since you've been in these for 6 months. That's going to put you profitable. I honestly, at this particular point, not a lot of history, I'd have my stop right under this pyramid here. So you see this pyramid right here on this chart? I wouldn't give back much profit on this one. So I have it at a low of 30.70. Okay, 30.70. All right, let's take a look at SLG. All right, SLG. And you've been in here, I'd have to stop right here on this pyramid at 60.26. 60.26. That looks like it was going to head down again. And SOUN. All right, eventually this should take out the high here. This should get above 10 at some point, but it looks like, I would say over the next couple of weeks, you're going down below 380. So I don't know how much you want to give back before you wait for it to return. I personally, 380 is quite a percentage return on this cheap stock. I would probably put my stop right under here and get out with a plan to get back in. So on this here, that's a low of 487. I'd put my stop. I'd give it a little bit, but if it goes below there, I kind of would want to be out with a red PTF on that chart right there. All right, let's keep going here. AEM. All right, both currently long. All right, we've had a hell of a run up on here, right? Really nice. So it looks to me like you're in wave 5 here. Let's get a quick little move up here and see where you are on this. I'm going to do a couple fib retracements here. You hit that retracement nicely, so that's okay. Let's do an extension. I'm going to even go up here, see how that extension is. So you're pretty much in the target zone there for a short-term top. Let's take a look at a longer-term top, and it's going to be the same. All right, let's just make sure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, this may give you a little bit more room or not. I don't think so, actually. So I'm thinking 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we're getting ready for a wave 4. And if that's the case, we're probably going to retrace down to 66 to 58. I think I would keep the stops close here. For right now, I would probably, at this particular point, scale out a little bit because you're in the target zone, and put the rest under this price bar here for now. 76.16 is a hard stop, but I would scale out. I would take half off right now. Okay, that's what I would do. It's a little selling into strength there. CDE, because I think it's ripe for a reversal, could go a little higher, but that would satisfy both schools of thought. All right, so red PTF over here. You've been in this one, both currently long. This is showing that we're going to dip below the 557 level, so that's quite a bit of a percentage. So I guess at this particular point here, I would hold it. I'd put it your stop at this pyramid here, which is a low of 5.45. If we get a little bit of a higher, if this turns green, that'll give you a little bit of time to see if the PTF turns back to green. But we also have a very bearish candle, pin candle up here. So, you know, I'll leave that up to you. I would probably scale out a little bit here with a hard stop on that pyramid I gave you, okay? And that's CDE. All right, and Gene is correct. All right, well, I think we're coming, you know, we keep these about a half an hour, so I think we're kind of in the session here, towards the end of the session, so I think we're pretty good here. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Yes, Ted, you need to, Ted needs to log into YouTube. Stu is exactly correct on that. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need on YouTube, Ted, create a free account. It's free. All right. You don't have to post anything. You don't have to do anything, but they want you to have what they call a channel. All right. And then once you have your own channel, then you can come over to our channel and subscribe. And then you can do all the posting you want, just like everybody else is doing in the comments area. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to go over the winners today really quick. I'll just visually, I'll just basically tell them. So the trades I like today, all right, is Tesla, TSLA, Silver, ETF, SLV, and then PAGS. So those are the three I like. The watch list today is going to be BITF. These are ones you don't take, but we'll keep an eye on them. KVUE, PFE for Pfizer on the watch list, and EQX is the other one. So we'll bring those back and take a look at them next week. All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming today. Don't forget to give us a like. I'm going to take a quick look, if you don't mind, at the intraday time frames, and I'll take a quick look at the NASDAQ. Now, these are day trading time frames, so our software can be used for day trading, and that's what we do in our day trading room. So the chart now on the left is a 15-second chart, which may sound crazy to some people, but actually not. All right, 1 minute chart in the center and a 5-minute chart on the far right. That's our long-term chart. So if you remember with our position trades, we had a 60-minute chart on the left and a daily in the middle and a weekly on the far right. Now we got a 15-second on the left, a 1 minute in the center, and a 5-minute on the right. So a little different. And we're basically looking to trade intraday trends using multiple time frame analysis, which is what we have here going on. And we use the indicators in the same fashion, okay? So a long trade here would be a little bit skeptical because we have a red PTF and a bearish pyramid on basically all the time frames. So you wouldn't want to be long here. All right, so if anything, maybe short, okay? So that's kind of where it would be on that. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you should check out our day trading room. And I'll put a link up for that in the recording as well. So listen, thanks everybody, and we'll see you back here next week for Stock Analysis Friday. I'm going to leave it on the intraday charts because they're kind of fun to watch for a couple minutes before we close the room. I'll put a little music on, and other than that, you guys have a great weekend. See you next week.
you.